In 1852, biologist Alfred Russel Wallace finished a 4-year trip to the furthest known reaches of the Amazon rainforest. Later in life, Wallace would help develop the science behind evolution and natural selection. To finance the trip, they found plants, animals, and insects to sell on to collectors. Wallace took the majority of his samples and notes with him for the return on a brig named the Helen. The ship caught fire. The captain entered his cabin and said only, "I'm afraid the ship's on fire. Come and see what you think of it." After some efforts to find the source of the fire, the crew decided to evacuate into a boat. This could not happen at a worse location. Wallace gives a rough coordinate here, 700 miles from the nearest port in Bermuda, and almost directly north of where they left Brazil. In 1852, they were decades away from some kind of wireless radio on ships. After waiting through the day and night to see if other ships would be drawn to the smoke and flames, they decided to set out for their last possible chance in Bermuda. Stranded in small, leaky boats, what might have been on their minds? I did a search of the archives for other ships which were lost to fire. Most of them probably just disappeared without a trace. The sailors may have thought of the Luxborough Galley, a slave ship which had burned in the Atlantic on the return to Europe. Though it was 100 years in the past, the survivors' terrifying ordeal, resorting to cannibalism, could not be far from their minds. They might also have thought of a recent Edgar Allan Poe story, where a doomed ship sends a message in a bottle. I was also Googling the Mary Celeste, which was found adrift with no crew, possibly due to a fire or gas leak aboard, but that was 20 years after Wallace's ship went down. Fortunately for Wallace, within 9 days the crew were spotted by a ship on its way from Cuba to England. Here's the coordinate where they were discovered. Though being rescued from this gigantic ocean seems like a miracle, it's not the same as randomly throwing darts on a map. If you draw a great circle line from Cuba to England, the same voyage as the Yordasin that rescued him was going on, you go directly past the rescue site. By the time he wrote a letter to his friend about the rescue, he realized he would only have some journals and drawings of fish. I do wonder if losing his collection, which he planned to sell, changed his motivation and led to him investing more into writing his account of traveling in the Amazon. Seemingly unshaken, Wallace would take his next overseas voyage just 18 months later to start an 8-year trip around the Malay Archipelago, and he would live to see his words safely transmitted across the Atlantic Ocean by Marconi's wireless radio. That was a short episode of Leaf Hack, a science and history podcast. I hope that you'll like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.